Hello. Vidayu. I wanted to make another channeled message video. This is also linked to the sign of Libra. So welcome Libra. Welcome if you're another sign, and welcome if you have Libra in another part of your chart. This will be a little bit of an extension of the last channeled message, and then I'll go into the reading portion of the video, but the whole video is the message. And again, these are specific messages, um, so maybe you would want to listen to them, and maybe hopefully you get some insight on things and things to think about. So the last channeled message did go into retrieving light, which linked to the Spanish Inquisition going into an area. One of the properties that is owned by the Vatican, that is in a public area and has some unusual activity. Um, we were down there to retrieve light, and we found what looked like and what turned into an orb of light, and then another orb of light, or that turned into an orb of light, was found on the bookshelf. But after that happened, the land or building that we were in, it started to rumble like an earthquake, and we quickly got out of there. The grandfather and grandmother energy, their daughter's energy, the living energy, and mine, after we made sure everyone was out of there, it quickly transitioned into another vision, which it felt like a familiar one. It was a little misty, almost graveyard-like, and I remember this energy too because I um, experienced it when I died, and then I came back to life. Um, and so it was nice because I was told that um, from the grandfather, you don't seem much of a people person, so hopefully you'll enjoy having this one as your travel companion. And so I heard the raspy meow from the distance, and that was definitely, um, is it familiar? So the meows got closer, and I already knew who it was. It was my late cat Kiki, and she's a super talkative black cat, and they're known to be Velcro cats. They like to be with their human, and um, are great for companionship. So it's been over 7 years, and I still have her hair in my necklace that I wear. Um, 1 second. Sorry, I had to pause a little bit here and there because my foot is falling asleep because I was doing this before. So we quickly start traveling again, and we get to water, I was thinking maybe this water will cleanse us, and the water was not cleansing. It felt earthy and sandy, like there was residue. And then uh, we popped back up. I feel bad because I'm traveling with my cat. Um, but it was the Nile River, and we have time traveled to the times that the pyramids were being created or made, and it was forced labor. So I got to an area and found another orb of light in what looked like to be a basket where maybe you would keep like a snake in. And so we left. Um, I was traveling, or we were traveling, I'm not exactly sure where we were going. There wasn't a specific route, but the next vision, like I open my eyes and then turn around, I'm like, oh, holy shit, because there's like a T-Rex and it's running towards us, and so um, it transitions into another vision, and I'm going even further back, and it's a vision of nothingness, of just dark white, and then you see this eyeball, and this eyeball is it's just looking around. Um, go back more. It's like a womb or like a fetus. Um, and it felt like I was in between sleep because I did doze off, and I see the grandparents. They're looking at me like as I'm doing this, and it tends to be like that, and waving their hands, being like, "You have to focus," and I'm like, I don't know what I'm focusing on, and um, a lot of times when you go through these things, you're supposed to find the answers because that's part of the purpose, or part of your purpose to walk in this life. And so I was thinking, what do all these places have in common? Um, and aside from, going back even further than the dinosaurs, it was the darker times, I would say, for at least the humans. And so Vision went to the when America was trying to break free from the British rule. And that was a point that I made when I was doing the other daily message. And to touch upon it again, with the French helping the Americans, um, helping them with funding and weapons, uniforms, other supplies, um, in general, like the Treaty of Paris. One of the important things that was how one of the more important things, everything was, is that, or was that the French helped the Americans fight against the British, where they helped form the American military and taught them how to fight the way that the British did. And I don't know what you call this exactly, but giving help like in the water, those areas too, is a lot of things like the Americans were self-taught. And I feel like with the impressions that I was getting, it was like the Americans not knowing what etiquette was, even if it punched them in the face. But it all came together in the end, and towards the end, the French arrived with their fleet, and we ended up paying off the debt, and I feel like in general did help them in future in the future with the wars hundreds of years later. So that was a portion of it. I feel like the grandparents' energy went to a different area. They, because the vision that I got next was like the the mask, like the bird mask that the doctors had to treat people with the plague. And I feel like they got another orb of light. And I just feel like there was a pot or cauldron of some sort. Um, so I try to do these videos when I do have a good amount to say. And then this is going off into a different area. But there was another portion of it where being calmed down after experiencing a lot and having like here like a fish out of, that was is it something that was fished out of water, like you were fished out of water, only like a human, and being caught in that way. So then I saw the grandfather energy and showing more light. So there's going to be a different segment of these types of videos. I wanted to not only verbally share what I see, but I wanted to paint more. So I'm almost done with the first painting, and I feel like I'll include it in the deck that I was supposed to be working on, and then I was thinking maybe I'll wait on it a little bit because I am moving. And it's the Leafland Tarot named after my rabbit Leaf, and so I thought that would be fitting to show what I have seen. And it'll be my paintings and the way that I like to paint things. And I like to have like a mystical folk type of painting. And then I'll have the visions that I share on here. Um, for the one that I just did, it was the first one where the grandmother energy came to me in the bedroom that I had in the last apartment that I just moved out of, well, last month. And it'll have the main visions, it'll have a little bit of the types of paintings and styles that I do, but the message is definitely going to be there, like what I shared is definitely going to be in there. And to also put the symbolism and to kind of be evocative in that way where you could have that type of sensory activated when you hopefully look at the images. And I think it would be nice. So, because I do feel like there is going to be a connection when I move as well with this. Um, I'll start pulling out the cards. Just one more thing, because I felt like I asked, like, if I meant to share these visions and readings, and I got the vision again of like the war on earth and smoking like fire, and then this fiery angel is next to me, and I asked, "Who are you?" And then I got the term like seraphim. So I thought that was evident, and now I'll start pulling out cards. So, bottom of the deck is reversed 8 of Wands. I feel like there's definitely the energy of like something not quick enough. Like you're not quick enough with this. And it's good because I feel like those who do watch this, because I get at least the group or at once, because the first card that popped out, Indigo, it's a repeating card, Indigo and Crystal Children. Archangel, Metatron, you have a bond with children in particular. You can help children who are sensitive. Along with crystal clear intentions, Archangel Michael. Be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. And gifts from God, Archangel Sandalphon. We angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. I haven't pulled out or turned the other cards around yet. And I do feel like this is, of course, a sensitive time for a lot of people. Um, and like a transition to, I would hope that you could keep your heart light as you can. So I turned over the Lover's card, and I, I feel like it goes with the Two of Earth and the Five of Earth. So I just have these. I feel like they're helpful cards to have, to understand and to hopefully bring a little more comfort into these readings, because I know sometimes they could be kind of aggressive, um, direct, at least maybe the way that I say it sometimes, but with the angel tarot and the oracles, hopefully it kind of makes it a little more balanced. So these say too much going on at once, the need to make a decision, consider a move, a more playful approach. And the Five of Earth, fear surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. I feel like with the Lovers card that go with this too, that it's like there is one energy, and I turn over the Queen of Swords. It kind of feels like an energy of like whether you like it or not, like they could help you. And I'm not saying that they don't want help, but maybe it's an energy or a person that is super independent and feels that they're able to get these things done on their own. But I feel like that's part of the lesson too, if you want to think about it in that way, where it's okay to make things more smooth, go more smoothly for you, because it kind of feels like fighting against the grain. Because one side is doing something and then the other side feels like it's doing something else, even though they seem like they're not doing anything in the card. But with that type of duality and also linking to Gemini, it feels like there's a bit of like a back and forth with it. And then there's a snake in the background too. So that kind of feels like it goes with, the snake like basket, how it moves with music. And then there's another energy that's really direct, and this is also linked to Libra with the Queen of Swords. I feel like this is like an energy that is trying to be gentle when she normally or he normally isn't. There feels like one energy that is kind of like more, I don't want to say more aggressive than the other, but has a different approach for sure onto how to talk about things, how to solve things, the way that they go about their lives. It just feels like a different approach, or maybe even a different lifestyle. I'm getting like, because with the reversed Eight of Wands that was in the beginning, it's like you're not doing this enough. You're not like maybe being quick enough. Things aren't progressing. Um, Not necessarily because you're not doing this, but because I'm over here stuck doing this while you're out here just being like kind of out and about doing whatever and being whatever. And um, I feel like maybe the wrong impression comes out with that. But I think it's part of that transition too with the Six of Wands, where there is an influence that is more impactful than you know. And maybe that's another reason with the Eight of Wands. Sorry, I'm gonna have to move my legs a little bit. So, the other cards are um, the Temperance card and Judgment card. Temperance from the Universal Folk Tarot, and then the Judgment from the Slavic Legends. So those two being Major Arcana the Lovers, being a Major Arcana card as well. Um, I really feel like this is staying calm during the storm. And the vision I'm getting is like, especially when it's hurricane season, and there's hurricane season like in Florida, in more the southern part of the US where it's surrounded by water too, where I see like this dainty tree. It's kind of hanging on for dear life as it's like being extremely like heavily rained on because of it being hurricane season. Um, and during those times, like people put like shutters on their windows, and like the types of construction that they have for their houses are made so that they're made to withstand these conditions through these seasons, times. The same things go with a lot of those plants in those environments. And I think it's something to take into account. And I feel like that's part of the realization and part of like that confidence that comes from the Six of Wands, because it's the confidence to move forward and to move forward even if it kind of feels like there is a type of going against the grain or even adversity, even in these times of war. Um, because with the Judgment card, you have the being playing the flute, and then with those tree babies waking up, and then Temperance being one where it's remaining calm and being able to internalize these things in the midst of chaos. Now, with the Judgment card, it does feel like the need to be heard, that type of energy. Um, it's not nearly as well for me. I was going to, I guess, give a personal example, but I feel strongly about being myself, and it's a necessity for me to be as much of myself as I can be. I feel like, especially for these types of things that I do, that I don't, I wouldn't say that I don't talk about it because I have like videos that I post, but in everyday life, I mean, I'll bring it up here and there. It doesn't really get brought up in conversation very often because there isn't that type of, well, I don't really talk that much, but um, it doesn't really get brought up in that way. But being told growing up to not share these things, and for my parents to try to find ways to try to make the visions go away, um, I feel like it definitely put me in a certain mentality and mindset, like direction. And also, I mainly was raised by my godmother and grandmother, so there's also that aspect there. But there is like a sense of independence and making myself and putting myself out there as that. And there's nothing that's going to be, there's nothing that's going to compromise that. There's that sense of independence that you do get from the judgment card, because everything that you fight for, it's worth it. And that's why you keep going. And to go with that judgment card, to keep going, is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands also has a guarded energy too. And that could also be because of what you're fighting for. Because the Nine of Wands is a card of like protection too, and building those walls. And yet it has the Eight of Cups here. Because the Eight of Cups is part of that transition energy. And I feel like it links to the Queen of Swords, because the Queen of Swords kind of just like it feels linked to it, as I just said. Because there's that sense of intensity and truth and directness and honesty and unyieldingness. There's just a lot that goes with it. Because there's that sense of energy is that's I'm gonna say it, like that's the energy. But with that, even when you put these things out there, it's good to try to offer ways to hopefully help overcome that adversity. So you got the Hermit card and the Four of Cups, as I said. And since this stuff is repeating, it feels like maybe messages from prior times just keep coming back because there's a point that's being made. Because with the Hermit card, it feels that it's an energy of like someone gave you a response, and this is the time where you're internalizing it. This might be too much TMI, but I mean, I already brought it up. Like, no, I didn't bring it up, but it was kind of linked to another thing that I have said, but not really linked to that thing. It's gonna be a lot of TMI. I don't know. But basically, with the Four of Cups, it's like given and with the Hermit card combined, like you're given information, and the Four of Cups feels like it's like feeling iffy about it. Like, I know it's kind of coming down to this, but I had to do that because my toilet was clogged the other day, and it was, I'm sorry, because I just feel sometimes, a lot of times, I use a lot of toilet paper, and I like to use those toilet wipes, and I don't like the advertising where they're like, I like it's possible to just use one of those squares, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going until I feel like, you know, like it's fine down there, and I don't feel like a square is gonna do it. So I was thinking, well, eventually it got done, but I did it myself because I didn't want the cleaning people to do it because, well, I don't want people doing that. So I'm just gonna stop that part of the conversation. Sorry. But at that time I was kind of thinking like, damn, hopefully this doesn't happen or hopefully that doesn't happen because um I had to get it. Like something to unclog it, obviously. Because it wasn't in the bathroom. And I'm sorry, like I'm just gonna say it because there's that time when I was just, because I was thinking, I hope it doesn't overflow because I don't want to have to scoop this like toilet water and like put it in the shower and then stomp it down like because I was having that type of conversation in another room, but or like part of it in another room, but um, I'm gonna stop there. So because the first card was the Eight of Wands reversed, and then the obstacle here is the Tower card, and actually seeing the change. But I, I feel that there's a lot going on in the background. And with the Ten of Pentacles linking to the Tower card, there's butterflies there. And with butterflies, linking into like ancestors, I feel like that part of it is helping in this moment of time, if you want to believe it in a spiritual way. Um, Another interpretation is nature taking its course, although it's not something that's like this type of thing that humans do, like with going through war and destroying another person's home and trying to take it for their own. It's not what I'm implying that it's necessary to do. Um, but there is a way that you come out stronger than you did before from this. And that's finding that advantage to that disadvantage. This does feel like it is a newer approach because you have some cards that are the pages, and the pages tend to be the younger energies. It doesn't necessarily have to be a younger energy, but also a fresh perspective, because in the past you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands could also be linking to a person or relationship, which may be why the Lovers card came up, and if not, the Lovers card could also be one, since it's the card of Gemini too. Because with the pages and being the wands, it could have been a newer relationship or interaction. Um, and then with the wands, it could also be linked to passion, and you can take that for what you will, whether it's creative passion or um, more intimate passion. You also have for the future the Page of Coins. Page of Coins, there is a wreath. I feel like you still call it a wreath if you're wearing it on your head, but it reminds me of like Advent, where you light the candles, and that seems like it's um it's a process too. Like there's for this time, like it feels like things are slow because there's a process that you need to go through. For some, it might have to do with paperwork. It could be with money too. It could be getting approvals of things, physical movement, again with alliances. So that could be the types of communication that you might have there and working on with the Page of Coins. It could also be linking to a relationship with the Page of Coins or Page of Coins, Page of Pentacles with the Page of Wands. Since the Page of Wands is in the past position and the present card is the Three of Swords, I feel like there could be a reignition or trying to find solutions to what didn't happen because of the disruptions from the Tower card and even from the Judgment card too. Because the Judgment card, it just feels like there's a lot of tests that are there. It's a lot of towards the ends. I say tests like exams or even getting the approvals because with the Judgment card, it's towards the end of the Major Arcana, as I have mentioned before, and with this perspective I have mentioned before as well, that it's it's like built up in everything that you've worked for is it's coming to this energy. But the Three of Swords, the words that I'm getting specifically is like since it's the swords, it's mentally something that is draining, or the word that I'm not saying is mm, mentally taxing. There's something that really affects you that another thing that's coming to me, since the word's not coming to me, I'm sorry. Like I I'm pretty sure this isn't a thing anymore, but like with China had the one child rule. Um, it was like there were some methods to where they would apply, and then it would cause them to just have one child if they weren't maybe putting the child up for adoption. I forget where I saw it from, but it was when they were like doing something to the skull where it was like damaging them and causing continuous damage until it would lead to something more um, deadly. So it feels like that. I'm sorry, that's like more of an aggressive type of perspective, but just like that energy of something that just keeps pressing on you and pressing on you and pressing on you. How to overcome the obstacle is a really interesting one for this reading because you have the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles. And it feels like a type of rootedness that honestly, it doesn't feel like it's that assuming, even though you have the Page of Pentacles in the future. Because it gives off, like, I have to do this. I'm planting my feet on the ground, and that's that. It's like the type of stability that is what you want to get from these times, because with the Tower, it's just so much going on. And I'm getting like just fire everywhere. But in the midst of it, the Knight of Coins, it's trying to keep its composure. Even with those mentally taxing moments. I feel like it really helps when we face the reality of things, and from there we're actually confronted and being able to move forward with realistic solutions, things that can actually be accomplished. And of course, there's always like that dreamlike aspect of it too, where you accomplish what seems to be the impossible too. But that could also come out of this when, with the oracle card that you have with the unwavering faith. Be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. Like, there's no way that this is going to turn out any other way but this. And it really does help steer that perspective. It's so interesting because with the Seven of Cups, that's what was being chosen with the Knight of Coins. That out of all these things, out of everything that's happening, like, this is what I want, this is who I want, especially with the Six of Coins too. The Six of Coins, it almost looks like somebody offering somebody else something. It could be that type of relationship interaction. And then, and there's just something about a roof over your head with the Six of Pentacles. And then another major arcana card, the Fool card. It kind of feels like even the dog is looking at what his human is looking at and being just as intrigued. And with this, it feels like the Fool makes a decision because the Fool starts to go on the journey. That's the beginning and that's the end. And um, it does feel like with this, like the Fool is saying, "This is it. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna go for." And from that, like from that decision, that's where the journey starts. I'm sorry. There's so much. It kind of feels like repetitive energy. And with this, I have the Queen of Water, tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, loving, and relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. I'll pull out one more, or maybe a couple from the Slavic legends. It's really interesting because I don't store my decks like with reversals. Sometimes if they come out reversed or I feel like they're reversed, I'll just say it. Because you have the Ace of Coins, and that's upright. The Seven of Coins came out reversed. So this gives me the impression that the wait time is over. Then you have, like with the Ace of Coins, it feels like it links to the Fool. and this is that path. And with that, there's the Knight of Wands with the Ten of Cups and the Hanged Man. And with the Knight of Wands, it feels like you're not going to stop this energy from getting from here to there. And since this is the Knight of Wands, the Ten of Cups is here, and it goes with the Hanged Man. This feels like togetherness too, because with the Ten of Cups, after the Knight of Wands, and then the Hanged Man there is also a Major Arcana card, it gives the impression that I've had this time to think and to be, it's like be on my own, and now I need to get up from this place that I'm at, and it's kind of like jumping it and getting everything. This is everything that I've wanted type of energy, which is a really nice ending for this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks.